Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session. This one's going to be for a gold Taric. So thank you very much, Mike, for the generous donation. I really appreciate it. For anyone watching out there, if you want a coaching video just like this, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. It's just a $20 donation. More than happy to make one for you. If you want to watch more coaching videos, then I have a playlist here. I think this is going to be like the 96th coaching session that I've done before. So there's a lot of different champions, a lot of different perspectives to check out there. If you want to watch some of my in-depth champion guides, I do have a Taric Season 8 guide in there. So be sure to check that out if you want to know more about how to play as Taric and sort of an in-depth look at different itemization and rune options for Taric. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. All right, so you want to aim for at least one control ward per 5 minutes. So if it's a 30-minute game, you want to aim for 6 control wards. You want to get 1 normal ward per minute, so 30 and 30. If you're running zombie wards, you need to try to get twice that much. So you need to try to get to 60 wards in 30 minutes if you can. For 8.4, they just changed the runes out a little bit. Mike recorded this on 8.3, but I'm just going to talk about 8.4 just so that people watching this moving forward will know what my recommendations are until they change the runes again. But I think that going back to Guardian rather than Inspiration is the place to be. After the nerf to Unsealed Spellbook, Magical Footwear, and Perfect Timing, I think that Inspiration is not really an attractive place for Taric right now. Now, Guardian they just nerfed as well, which is pretty rough. So what they ended up doing was they make you now choose between Second Wind, Mirror Shell, and Iron Skin. And that's bad because typically you would go Second Wind plus one of these. They're doing that mostly, I think, for top laners. It does hurt tanky supports, but there were so many top laners that would just kind of get a free laning phase if they just took Iron Skin, Second Wind. Most notably like GP, Nasus, Alawi, things like that. So they're trying to kind of nerf that out of contention. But it does hit Taric because Taric did like getting these things. He still has okay choices. I mean, you can go Bone Plating. This is great for all ends. It's okay for all ends would probably be a better way to put it. You know, getting an extra, basically 90 health is pretty good. If you think about kind of in the early mid-game where you might be getting 30 damage blocked. I mean, that's equivalent to just having, you know, if they hit you 3 times, that's equivalent to having 90 extra health, basically, in a fight at the end. So, you know, that is helpful. But, you know, it's not amazing, but it's all right. So, that's good. So Guardian, Bone Plating. I think you have to get Second Wind in this tree. It's kind of lame to have to give up either Iron Skin or Conditioning, but Second Wind is just so strong. You just have to get that. Taric is fortunate that he does scale pretty well with Revitalize also, with his heals. So he doesn't have it as bad as other tanks. Some of those other tanks that can't really, like, don't have any heals, they can't use Revitalize. This is absolutely just very tragic for them. Because unflinching is just not that great most of the time. It's okay. Overgrowth is complete trash until they change around how it scales. If they make it like every 6 monsters, it might be worth considering, but right now it's just total garbage. So at least Taric does have Revitalize, which is good. Your other options, there aren't a ton of like amazing secondaries. I mean, a lot of people will still probably go Inspiration, and you could get like, you know, Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight might be the best choices right now, and that is good. That's a pretty good bargain. Cosmic Insight, you know, is about, I forgot, I think it's like a 300 gold bargain or so, maybe not that much, maybe like 250. I can't remember the exact how much that's worth, but it's a pretty good little bargain. And then Footwear is still solid at like 350 or 400 gold value, so that's great. However, I recommend zombie wards, which are pretty much priceless. You can't put a ward on, or you can't put a you can put a ward on it. You can't put a price on Great Vision. And then Ingenious Hunter is just so strong with the build that I recommend, which is, you know, getting Locket and Redemption on Taric. So that's really good. I've talked about this a ton on the channel, but that's also great for sweepers in the late game. When you have that, you know, 20-second sweeper, just amazing. It helps you clear out a lot of the vision and put down a lot of your own vision with zombie ward. So sweeper, ingenious, zombie ward, that's the combo. So really nice, especially if you're going to get Redemption or Locket, and definitely if you're going to get both of them, it's really good. If you want to go for some more sort of exotic builds like Banner of Command for extra pushing, it's even pretty good with Knight's Vow, so that you can put it on different partners if you need to. So Ingenious just has a lot of applications, but even if you just have, you know, Locket or Redemption plus Sweeper, then it's already a great bargain, that 40% item CDR. So That's what I recommend. As far as builds, Taric's itemization is very flexible. You know, he could be anything from, you know, a super tank to someone who is mildly tanky but has a lot of team utility, and that's how I really like to build him. So you want to go Targons, of course. They did nerf Targons on this patch, but still pretty good. Get to the tier 3. I'm not sure if the tier 4 is worth after they took off the 150 health on it. I haven't done the math again on it yet, but I think it probably worth. I don't know, though. It's tough. But you definitely want to go to the tier 2 and then just kind of think about if you really need that extra ward or not, if they're really contesting your vision. If not, I think stopping at Targons is okay. And then you really want to get typically Redemption, if at all possible. You know, if you're just getting completely destroyed and you need something more defensive, you could rush Knight's Vow first. But I think that Redemption is great. Taric does need a mana item most of the time. He has some serious mana problems. Now, some people will go Taric with Tear of the Goddess, and then they'll go like all tank stuff. So Taric with Tear, and then they'll go Locket Vow. It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of Tear on Taric because it doesn't build into anything meaningful later in the game. It's just a really, you know, short-term boost in mana. I think that getting Redemption overall is a lot better because you can complete it. It's really powerful. He has a pretty good repeatable shield that benefits heavily from the extra plus healing and shielding. Like, the base shield is not that much, but the fact that you can do it like every, you know, 1 to 2 seconds if you're spamming it in a fight is really helpful. Also, having the extra, you know, Fairy Charms early on, which transitions into 150% mana regen, is great. I mean, that ends up giving you, like, I think his base mana regen, you know, in the mid-game ends up being like 11 or something. So having 150 extra mana regen would basically give you like 16 extra mana per 5, I believe. I mean, let me look and see. Yeah. So kind of in the mid-game, you're going to have, like, we'll just call it 12 just for easy math, and that'll give you 18 extra mana per 5. So that's really, really powerful. I mean, 18 times 12. So 18 mana per 5. 12 of those happen per minute. That's 216 extra mana every minute that you're kind of walking around, which is a lot. So yeah, you're not going to be able to sit there if your team has like a, you know, a 30-second fight and just drain, you know, like 2,000 mana into a fight off of just spamming your Q. Maybe you can't do that as well as you could with Tier, but most fights aren't going to last that long. And there's a lot of, you know, just running around Clown Fiesta style where it's going to be a lot more helpful to have the regen so that you can rotate to a bunch of different fights and sort of zip around the map with that mana regen. And Redemption's active is so strong. I talk about this a lot in the guide, but it's so good. It can completely turn a team fight around, especially because when your ult triggers, you know, when it goes off, a lot of times people will be sitting at like maybe half health or something. So this kind of pauses that and allows your Redemption to land so that it can heal those people up. So overall, I think Redemption's a really good buy. It does make you a little squishy, but so does Tier. So, I don't know. It's up to you, but I think Redemption's a great buy, and then Locket after Redemption. The old Targon's Locket Redemption's a great combo. You could also get Knight's Vow if you want some more personal tank stats, if you think you're a little too squishy after Redemption. I mean, you can get Vow into Locket if you want with Tier. You're going to need some mana, though, so if you do Vow and Locket, you have to get Tier. But I just think it's more cost-efficient and scales much better into the mid to late game when you have Redemption. So Redemption, Locket, Knight's Vow. After that, it's kind of up to you. I think Ardent Censor is a pretty good buy that late in the game if you have some fed 80 carries or... Sadie, what are you doing? If you have some fed 80 carries or, you know, other type of auto-attacking bruisers like a Shyvana or a Yasuo or a Camille or something like that, then Ardent could be pretty good. You know, other viable options might be, you know, like a Zeke's or a Banner of Command. What's up, Chief? Hi. You sneaking in here? Trying to imitate Sadie.
No.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Say, no baby this time.
Baby's asleep.
You don't want to wake her up and bring her in here?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can if you want to.
I have to deal with that?
Yeah, you have to deal with the consequences.
You think she'd be grumpy?
Yes.
What's up? Just hanging out?
I have PT tomorrow at 10.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to bed.
Alright, good night. Love you.
Good night. Love you too.
Okay, so, sorry about the interlude there. You want to max E first. That's your big damage. That's your stun. It's great. You can have it up quite a lot. It lowers the cooldown on it, and then obviously every time you're landing auto attacks, it's going to lower the cooldown even more, so you can get your stun off several times in a fight. It's really powerful. Your W is next. It's okay in terms of scaling. It does give you a slightly bigger shield. It does give you more armor, which is awesome. The Ninja Tabi, you want to try to get Ninja Tabi boots if at all possible. If they have a ton of AP, you might have to get Mercury Treads, but the extra armor off of Ninja Tabi is so great with your W, so try to get Ninja Tabi if you can most of the time. Then Q, you really want to leave your Q at 2 points for most of the game. The reason for that is every time you auto attack, every time you cast a spell, you get 2 empowered autos, and then each auto charges up a point for the Q. And you don't get any extra healing per charge when you level up your Q, if we look at Taric, and that's really important. That's something that I didn't really appreciate a lot when I first started playing kind of the newer version of Taric, is that it's the exact same scaling the entire time. Okay, so you don't get any more health, you know, no more AP scaling, no more base health, nothing. This is your stat forever and always per charge. The only thing that happens when you put extra points into this is you can hold more charges. That's it. So it's not more efficient, it just allows more charges. But in the middle of a fight, whenever you cast an ability, you get those 2 hits, you get 2 charges, you can use it again. And then when you cast this as its own ability, you auto-attack twice, you can use it again. So it creates this loop where you can just Q, auto, auto, Q, auto, auto, Q, E, Q, auto, auto, Q, Q, auto, auto, Q. Okay, so it just, you kind of get into a rhythm there. It also keeps the cost low. Okay, so it's 80 mana at level 2 to use 2 charges. If you max this out to level 5 and you only use 2 charges, it still costs you 110 mana. So, you know, when you Q auto auto and you're waiting on your W, you're waiting on your E, you know, it creates this dilemma. Well, do you use your Q again even though it only has 2 charges, because it's going to cost you 110 mana. So this will make you run out of mana real fast if you level this all the way up. Just get 2 points in it, that's fine. That'll still heal for 60 plus 2% of Taric's max health. You know, if he has like 2,000 health, which is not hard to do. So remember, that's max health, not bonus health. Then you're easily healing for like 100 on one of these. 2 people at least, you and somebody else, and it can heal people around them too. So that's like a 200 heal for 80 mana. That's on like a 1 second cooldown. So it's already pretty sweet. So yeah, you really don't want to level this up. I would... Maybe, like, once you get to level 18, you level it up, you have a ton of mana, but I would say for a very long time, you really don't want to level that up. Not just because it's the weakest of the 3 to level up, but because it's actively bad for you to level it up, because it's going to cost you a lot more mana, and you're going to be wasting a lot of mana efficiency, potentially, in fights. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Let's get into the game. We'll turn the game volume back on here. How are we looking on time? That's a decent little pregame there. Alright, let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to take notes as we watch. And I'll sort of bring out the top, you know, 5 or 10 things that I think you can work on. So assume this is 8.3. Okay, so you did go with the spell book. Yeah, it's 8.3 because I wouldn't be able to watch it if it was 8.2 because my client's 8.3. So you are doing this after the spellbook nerf. Not a huge fan of that. Not a huge fan of that. But it's okay. The reason is because you can't, like I said before, you can't go stopwatch and boots anymore. And then the stopwatch has been nerfed a lot. As have boots. Now, This is okay to cheese them like this. Okay, well, they know where Kayn is anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if they didn't spot Kayn up here, then you being right here would give away where Kayn is. So you just want to be aware of that, you know, if you do something like this, there's a decent chance that their jungler will invade you. So just be ready for that. Because they're going to know that Kayn doesn't start red at that point. So if you want to do something like this, you really need to try to ward your own red before you do it. If you want to level 1 cheese them, which is fine. I think it's worth a shot, but just know that you're inviting a potential invade. And Kayn is really low. He's half health, so if Warwick went over there and you guys didn't have that warded and he just like rolls up like right here, he could force his flash or potentially kill him. But Warwick's not taking advantage of that. If he was paying attention, he would have. Because he should have known that Kayn was going to be really low after he ran out of there. Okay, anyways. I like the Ignite. Now. Okay, good try, good try. If you take an unsealed spellbook, you know, you really got to make some magic happen with like some flash stuns. Because you're giving up Guardian, giving up Second Wind. Actually, you might have Guardian or Second Wind. I'm not sure what your secondary is. I didn't look in the loading screen. I forgot to. But you're giving up something. You're either giving up Guardian or you're giving up in Second Wind and all that stuff, or you're giving up Ingenious Hunter.
You're looking out for me.
That's fine. I'm thinking maybe you should have used a point and heal, but maybe not. Okay, good. Be sure to ping that flash. That was a good turnaround. Okay, nice. Now you know Warwick's top, so you have about 30 seconds of free time. I would ignite her, just to scare her. You're gonna have to flash. You're gonna have to flash. I would have ignited her over here when she was going through the minions, try to auto her. Because that fight's going down. Your Ignite's a pretty low cooldown. And she might be low enough at that point where she doesn't go for that kill. If you can get her to like 25%. She might run for it anyways, but I think it's worth the shot to Ignite somewhere in that fight just because it's such a low cooldown and it could deter her from chasing. Potentially. What I was going to say though is Warwick was dead, so in theory, you guys had a green light to go aggressive there, but you just got to be careful with it. Okay, that's fine. I'm trying to think of... I think that builds in a recurve bow. I was hoping he doesn't build like Blade the Rune King or something. Okay, good. I like completing the Targons. That is one of the perks in like fights. You can get pretty aggressive with Ignite, and then that way, even if you don't kill him, like sometimes you can run him out of lane. Alright, so as soon as she shows back up, the first thing you need to do is tab and see what she has. Okay. So you're gonna see that she's got a Caulfield, so she's ahead of you guys right now. You need to be careful. Xayah Rakan's particularly dangerous too, because they get so much extra damage off that W. Okay, Veigar, yep. Y'all gotta back up. Back up, Veigar, Veigar, Veigar. that was a good rotation by your team. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, well, that worked. Kind of scared Warwick was going to be in that area, but... Okay, he's middle. Okay. Just be aware that Vhagar was there. It was a little scary, but TF did show up to kind of save the day. Kayn was a little bit behind the play. But if you guys baited that, it was very well done. If you just kind of were pushing up and you totally didn't see Vhagar and you just felt like lucky that TF rolled up, then that's not good. But it ended up working out. Yeah, so you're kind of having the mana issues here with old Taric. It's pretty common. So you need to probably get either how much? Because you have 830. Nah, I don't like this. I think you're probably building towards Locket. You almost never want to rush Locket. It's extremely inefficient as a solo. I don't like this rotation either. So what this is going to do, there's a few things that could happen here. Some of which are bad. First of all, it's going to give Xayah free farm to let her catch up to Varus. So yeah, you guys are going to be able to pressure this tower, sort of. But it's also going to give them free farm. It's also going to give them dragon priority, because now you have 2 people top. And neither one of you has teleport, so if they really wanted to, they could force a 3v4. Fiora is also pretty fed. Yeah, so Fiora can actually kill you a lot easier than Xayah can right now. So you guys are like walking into a much more dangerous situation where you don't have ward control. Darius might die. Darius is in a 2v1 lane too, and Darius is not good in a long lane because he doesn't have escapes. I mean, you guys don't really have great escapes either, but like what you should do here... I'm gonna pause this really quick. What you should do here in that macro situation, once you take this tower, you guys need to go middle and push this tower. Okay, so start putting pressure on this. That will force one of the supports to come over here. So you basically, what you want to do, especially when you have something like a TF and a Kayn that can pick people off really easily, you want to get vision here and you want to get vision here. And then you want to get them, you know, running back and forth up and down this river, and you want to threaten the dragon so they have to come check it and sort of fight you for vision in this river. Because that's going to force this Rakan to expose himself. He's going to have to come out here and risk getting ulted on by TF, or risk Kayn running him down and killing him. And he's very squishy. He took coin. Upgraded it to Nomad's first, so he doesn't even have boots yet. He'd very easily kill him. So you just want to like push the lane to like maybe right here, and then constantly keep wards, you know, as deep as you can get them. Like here, here, here. Try to get the dragon with Kayn. If they're coming to pressure you, you know, then just rotate to middle. Put pressure on middle. Once they push this wave up, then you can rotate back bot. Half the time, the people who are pushing this won't leave fast enough. They'll be right here trying to push that last wave. And you can flank around behind them over this way and get some easy kills. Or TF can teleport down here on them. There's just so many more strategic options on the bottom side of the map. You can push dragon. You can catch people on rotations. You can catch people out who are pushing back too far. You can pressure mid-tower and maybe take it. All of this is good. Everything top is going to be bad. And I argued with someone on, well, I wouldn't say argued is a strong word, but I debated someone on stream about this probably like a week and a half ago, because they were saying that, you know, I didn't rotate top enough, and it's because it's a bad rotation in solo queue most of the time. Because what'll happen top is you're going to put Darius down here by himself. Like I just mentioned before, he doesn't have escapes. He's pretty far behind. You know, he's 0-2. So he is a very high potential that they could gank and kill him, especially with someone like Xayah, Rakan, Warwick. He's probably going to push up too far. He's not going to have good warding because he's just a single person. He's not going to have a sightstone. So he's not going to be able to keep vision of this area. And he's not going to be able to control dragons. He's not going to have vision. Also, neither one of you has teleport. So they could easily just group up as, you know, 4, do dragon, if they're losing, Fiora can TP down there. So that's bad. So Darius is now the person who's going to be exposed for ganks. They're the people who are going to have priority on all of the vision and dragons around here. Their Zaya's going to get to free farm and get back into the game. She's very dangerous when she gets to 3 items. And it's going to be less likely you're going to be able to get vision control topside, because it's a lot harder to get vision in this area, oftentimes. Not always, but it can be pretty tricky to get vision through here. And Fiora's really dangerous. I mean, she's one of the most fed people on the team. She's 2-0. She just does way more damage than Xayah and Rakan do at this point of the game, because she's got her her Phage and her Sheen. So you don't have the vision. You're probably not going to take this tower that quickly. I mean, maybe, but it's going to take a while. So anyways, that is my thought on top rotation. I would not do it. Like, if you get the dragon first and then you want to go top, maybe that's a consideration. Well, she's just suiciding. So that's good. But, like, if you take the dragon first as a team, then maybe you can think about top. But I would still feel very uncomfortable doing that. I would much rather just take the dragon, you know, just pressure middle. Like, the best macro you can do, if you have the opportunity, is take tower, take dragon, take middle, take rift, then take top. You just want to work your way top over time. Okay, you need to ping, let them know her TP's down. Yeah, they might kill you again here. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, you're not even level 6 yet, so you don't have ult. This Fiora is crushing you guys. That's rough. Meanwhile, bot lane, Xayah has surpassed Varus in CS by quite a lot now. Yeah, you notice how everything's kind of going to hell once you guys started rotating top lane. It was working out so well bot lane. But they got this top tower anyways. They have a lot of pressure bot lane. Y'all are just bleeding gold right now. So yeah, the much better play is just to dogpile middle. Just force people to come middle and sort of ARAM with you, because y'all have so much more power than they do. Because then you can dictate the terms, like I said before. You can go middle, you force them to go middle. You can go back down bottom and push, you force them to go bottom and push. You're not dictating anything top lane. You're just, like, standing around, you know, kind of pressuring a tower, but not really that much. There's not as much pressure with 2 people on 1 person here as there is with 3 people on 1 person. They have to respond to that. With this, they can take their time and come up here eventually and get you if they want to. Speaking of which, I mean, they could be doing Dragon right now. They could do Dragon anytime they want. They could be doing Rift right now. You need to try to get deeper vision in here. I know it's really scary, though, because Fiora could hunt you down and kill you, but... Okay, there she is. Now, Warwick could come back up here. Veigar... Okay, Veigar's bottom, but... If Warwick comes up... I don't know, you have ult this time, but... She has full Trinity. They're just trading kills. She's getting really cocky. I think y'all probably gonna get her here. Yeah. Okay, so she's kind of lost her mind. Warwick, you're pretty much out of mana. What do you have? Yeah, you don't have a mana item yet. You need to at least get the fairy charms. Like, if you had mana here, you could probably stun him again, maybe kill him. Oh, almost. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, watch my enchanter itemization video that I just did, or I talk about Locket and why it's really inefficient to buy early. It really needs levels and at least one health item to make it worth. And you have to get a mana item early as Taric. Either tier, which is what a lot of pros do. I don't like that build like I described earlier for solo queue. Or redemption. Okay, so Kayn is kind of fed on your team. Twisted Fate and Varus doing like alright. And if you are in Veigar, are really fed on their team. So you always just want to tab and sort of check out what's going on. Write some of this down. So you had a great early game. Great laning phase. Just that that lane swap was brutal. Put that in. Oh, there it is. Oh, fell out of my notebook. My wife came in here. Alright.
Red team has slain the dragon. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
See, y'all are both really far out of position right now, so they're probably going to get middle. Now, them trading a tier 1 for a tier 2 is probably okay. I mean, Kayn might be able to hold it. Okay. Well, Kayn really outplayed there. Okay, good. Well, y'all have turned it around. They've made a series of really bad sort of micro mishaps. I was gonna say transgressions, but I don't. I mean, that kind of sounds like it has some kind of religious import to it. She's gonna run down and kill everybody here. This viewer is outplaying herself. I like how she's pinging the Ignite. Like, the only reason it was a bad play was because Twisted Fate ignited her. Okay. Well. You know, they're throwing you guys a bone here. They're getting you back in the game. Darius, like, inexplicably just left bottom. Went middle. Maybe Veigar ran over there on him. I don't know. You gotta get some mana. I don't know. I guess you're maybe going Knight's Vow here. You gotta get some mana. You need more vision down. Y'all need to go get Rift. Be careful around here. I don't think... Well, yeah, get a little bit of damage on this, and then I want you to set up vision. Like, set a ward here. I'll show you in a second. Okay, good ult. It's Fiora. He played so well early, but then she just, like, doesn't get it. She's, like, really tilted or something, I don't know. Yeah, so I want you to come over here, I want you to ward this, and I want you to ward this, and I want you to come over here, drop a control ward here, and then threaten and get this Rift Herald before you've got like 1 minute to do it. Yeah, you need to be pinging Rift and go get it, because that's basically a tower. Like, oftentimes, it's at least half a tower, and if you use it properly, often it is, you know, you could get more than that. Get at least 1 tower out of it. Warwick's over there trying to get it. Darius does not have TP. So you gotta be careful that you don't get into a fight. It's gonna be a 4v5. Be careful walking through here. They're gonna be here. Okay, they just randomly backed. You're just gonna have to let this go. Yeah, they're gonna get it. Yeah, so y'all should have done that after you got the tier 2. That's a pretty big deal. I mean, if they win this fight here, they could use it middle. Okay, that's good. Kind of dragon. And dragon. Yeah, you need to... Okay, he died there. I was like, wait, why are you not over here? This is gonna be really close. They might all die. Yeah, they need to probably leave. Yeah, he's dead. He got baited. Don't let them rush Barret. They might go look at it. Sometimes if you just show up and just let them know that you know, they won't do it. Okay, they're not. They had too big of a wave bot lane. They might do dragon, though. And be careful. Okay. They're just running around doing nothing. Like, they should have at least pressured dragon off of that, I think. Could have forced it. Well, I guess Veigar is dead.
Hold it, partner.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Okay, they did get the dragon. Yeah, Knight's Vow. Like, you're personally pretty tanky, and, you know, Vow plus Targon's is pretty good with Locket. Yes, you don't have the same kind of teamfight presence that you would have if you had Redemption, though. You need a lot more ward coverage in here. It's looking rough. He has a good ult. Working some miracles here, turning that around. That's good. Yeah, it's brutal. So, yeah, y'all got to watch that itemization. That kind of caught me off guard, too. That Warwick built the Righteous Glory. You know they have Rakan, though. Like, Rakan and Warwick, even if he doesn't have Righteous Glory, can still fight really well. Your ult definitely bought a lot of time for the rest of your team to get over there. Now they're just wasting their Rift Herald bottom, so someone needs to go over there and clean that up. You probably should go over there. This fight, they're already going to have this by the time you get over there. I would just go clean this up if you can. Yeah, so you sort of changed your mind a little bit late to try to spot that a bit earlier. It might actually get a charge in. That's okay. I mean, you did recognize what you should be doing, so that's good. Yeah, recognizing that a little bit faster could have potentially saved a good chunk of damage on the tower. I'm gonna back up. I missed the start of that. I was writing down stuff. Okay. Yeah, just go pressure bot. Leave wards on the way as you're walking. Just like drop a ward here. Maybe drop a ward here. So yeah, you need to be warding a lot more just while you're in transit. So you have 3 wards. You know, this whole jungle should be warded up right now. You just always want to make sure if you're walking somewhere, just think about where is the next point of interest. What do you want? So right now you want this. So you want to at least have like 1 ward here, and probably like ward over this wall right there so Warwick doesn't do that to you. Okay. Well, they got your ult out, so that's really bad for your team. But y'all are able to turn around anyways. Have a ton of damage. Yeah, just keep auto-attacking, queuing. So they baited out your ult, but your team just has way more damage right now. What do they have? They gotta have some weird stuff. Veigar doesn't have any spell pin. Zaya's still on like 2.5 items. And Warwick, that Righteous Glory is just not, he's just not tanking up with that item. Okay, I mean, y'all did a good job. I mean, really, your individual fighting I thought was pretty strong. You know, you were using your ults well, you're auto-attacking, like just using your heals. There wasn't a, you know, there weren't a lot of really bad engages. I felt like you didn't get caught personally a lot. You were just kind of like in the situation. Kind of getting caught up in the situation, that is to say. Trying to do the best you can with some of these goofy engages. Okay, so the biggest thing that I talked about a lot here is That's the number one takeaway. If you take anything away from this video, which I hope you take a lot away, but the biggest thing that I want you to take away is do not rotate top when you get bot tower. That is almost always a mistake, a macro mistake. Occasionally, pro teams will do it. It depends on the situation. More often, they will try to do what I was talking about, which is pressure mid and get vision. It depends on how much wave clear they have mid. Also, I mean, there are a lot of different factors, but in general, you know, you don't want to try to force a 2v1 like that for all the reasons I described. You can't protect Dragon, and it's just much better and gives you more opportunities to pick people and make plays if you work around the side of your map that's already busted open, because you're going to be able to get better vision there and control that section. Whereas when you go top, it really doesn't matter that you even broke the first tower, right? Because you're not getting deeper vision, you're not threatening Dragon if you're top. You know, the top laner that you sent bottom is in a 1v2 lane anyway, so he's not going to be able to apply any pressure. So he's not going to be able to push it past, you know, their tower most of the time by himself. He's going to be pushed into his tower. So it's really just like it never even happened. I mean, like, you got some gold, but you're not getting any of the strategic sort of macro rewards for taking that tower. You're just moving on to another tower. Because, yeah, you're forcing a 2v1 top, but they're forcing a 2v1 bottom. And so you're not really gaining an edge in that sense. And since you were already ahead of bottom, now you're letting them catch up. You could say, well, maybe you suppress the top if you do that. Sort of. I mean, it depends on the matchup and what's going on. Now, that was particularly rough because the Fiora got, you know, several kills. She squandered her lead by, you know, acting goofy, but making a lot of, like, really arrogant mistakes. But for a while there, it was looking grim. Like, I wasn't sure if you were going to win after you rotated top and, like, all those bad things started happening. So, just make sure you clean that up. Just rotate middle, pressure bottom, and then just rotate from middle to bottom, threaten dragons, get vision, try to pick people off while they're transitioning, and see if you can get some good picks on the bot lane as well. And then just chip away at the mid tower. Okay. Okay, so make sure you're setting up more vision around areas of interest. You did get your upgraded vision really early, but then you didn't place, like, a ton of wards. Like, I didn't see how many wards you placed that game, but I would say it's probably under 20. You know, you always want to make sure that you have 3 wards on the map, you know, at all times. Like, you always want wards on the map. And so, let me see. Okay, let's see. No, not whatever that is. Thought I could just, like, open. Can I just click on it? Oh, it takes me to this stupid thing. I thought there was some option that was just like view image, or did they change it? Or am I just, like, too tired and blind to see this? What am I missing? Didn't there used to be an option just like view image or something? Save image, copy image, inspect, save link as, copy link, open link. View saved. Anyways, like, you can ward over the rift pit. Or you can ward down river more. Like, there are a lot of good places you can ward that I talk about in my vision domination video, but just get wards on the map somewhere. That'll help you against the Warwick ganks. That'll help you potentially threaten Rift Herald more. That will help you if your Kayn wants to invade. There's just a lot of things that vision does for you. And so just make sure that you're getting more wards down, especially control wards. Use that to shut out visions. They don't see you when you're rotating, so they can't see some of these objectives that you guys are trying to do. They didn't really contest you on a ton of the objectives, but, you know, as you move up in elo, they will. So you just always want to use control words as much as you can. I didn't see you ping that much in that game. You may have pinged, but, like, after you get something, you know, after you get a few kills, you can be pinging a tower. Hey, everybody go over here. Like, hey, let's go get Rift Herald. Or, hey, let's go get this dragon. Ping people back. Hey, you're about to get ganked. Watch out. So just try to communicate a lot more with ping, sort of what's going on the map to help your team make better macro decisions instead of just kind of going with the flow and just letting people, like, potentially make a lot of mistakes. And then pressure Rift and Dragon, which I mentioned a couple of times. That Dragon set up for a really long time, and then they ended up getting it, even though you got the first tower, which really shouldn't happen. The same thing with the Rift Herald. You know, I was saying you could have gotten that Rift for like 4 minutes. You guys just never went over there and took advantage of that opportunity, so they ended up getting it. So they really should not be getting anything when they're that far behind. Like, you should definitely get all the Rifts and Dragons. You should really even be, like, starving them out of blues and red buffs and any kind of jungle camps you can get your hands on. So you got to slowly just put that chokehold on them when you're ahead. Just, like, you know, just force them to fight you or else take all of their stuff. Like, you have to bully them hard. Otherwise, I think that looked pretty good. Okay. So there were a few fights that I noticed where you were running out of mana, especially some of these longer engages where you just couldn't do all that maybe you could have done if you had more mana. So I think just getting either a Redemption or Tear of the Goddess is pretty necessary as your first item. At a bare minimum, if you want to rush Knight's Vow into Locket, which is a much better order than Locket into Vow, if you want to do Vow into Locket, then at a minimum, just go ahead and pick up like a Fairy Charm or two just to help you out with some of these sustained engagements. So, anyways, otherwise looks pretty good. I thought your micro was on point. It's just clean up the macro a little bit. They didn't punish you too hard for some of the macro mistakes. I guess they did when you went top lane. They punished you real hard, but they didn't follow up with that. They just, you know, your team was throwing really hard, and they just caught it and threw it right back to you. You guys are just playing catch that game. But yeah, you want to be much more consistent and just don't rely on them making a lot of mistakes. Just try to have, you know, much tighter macro, and I think that'll help you out. So, anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. For anyone else out there that wants to see a coaching video, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to make one for you. It's just a $20 donation. And I'll see everybody next time. Have a good night.